The Hawaiian Islands are many things. For tourists, they are the ideal vacation destination. For archaeologists, it is a treasure trove of tribal history. And for the natives, it is a homeland in the process of rebirth. These pristine islands hold some opportunity for just about anybody. They may hold something else, however. An elusive creature the natives believe has been there long before man ever set foot in the Pacific. The first Hawaiians arrived on the islands between 800 and 400 CE, making their civilization over 2,000 years old. While 2,000 years is certainly a lot of time, it is but the blink of an eye in terms of human history. The number of Hawaiian islands has fluctuated over the centuries, but the fact that they are islands has always been true. They were formed not by the splitting away from continents, but by underwater volcanoes. As these volcanoes erupted, the rock it formed built up over tens of thousands of years, eventually breaching the surface, forming soil, and growing their own ecosystems. By the time the natives arrived, the Hawaiian Islands had existed, in various stages, for around 30 million years. The first Hawaiians may or may not have had an idea of how the islands were formed. One peculiar idea they did have, though, were of previous inhabitants, human inhabitants, but not any normal humans.
In Hawaiian folklore, the Menehune are described as a sort of small type of person, a small race of people, and the Hawaiians actually assert in their traditions that the Menehune were there before the islanders ever actually arrived. For how long, no one exactly says in the mythologies. On a notion like this is what the Hawaiians would have had to sail through for many, many hundreds of kilometers to get to the islands from Polynesia where they started out. So how the Menehune would have arrived there, that's kind of why I think it's not outlined in the mythology, because there would have been no way of knowing, essentially. But they were believed to be these really great builders, this architect race, and they could, be accredited with building giant fishing ponds in a single night, or great buildings in 8 days, using only stone in their bare hands and things like that. The mythology states that eventually these Menehune were sort of driven out or overcome by the islanders' forces as more and more of the people that we now call the native Hawaiians arrived. It's really interesting because there's so much accredited with the Menehune, and still it's so prevalent in today's Hawaiian society. I mean, so many Hawaiian companies, or just companies that have stations in Hawaii, use the Menehune as a mascot. Disney has a whole oriented walk-through experience involving Menehune as mascots in their statues. There are water companies that use Menehune on their logos. And, they're very interesting in that way, but they're also interesting because the Menehune are considered very seriously by many native Hawaiians to this very day.
There are still those who believe the Menehune are very real. David Wallace is a Hawaiian native. When he was 21, David encountered something strange while working as a security guard on the island Molokai. He attributes his chilling experience to the Menehune.
Actually, I was working for this company called Hayes Guard, and one of my uncles was a major, so he gave me a position up there, and I only wanted to work on a weekend, so that was the only position that they had. So that's where, and I was living in the community right next to Kuhuku called Laie. So it's only a few minutes drive away from the work site, so that was really convenient for me. On the first night that I was there, I was being given orientation by a more seasoned person that worked there for several years. And when I pulled in and I left my car parking near the front gate. He told me, "Bro, don't park over there." And I asked him why. He says, "Well, you park over there, you'll find out." And he didn't really tell me why, but several days later, I met up with another person, and he told me that the Menehune use that area near the front gate as a pathway, either going down to the ocean or coming back from the ocean when they do their fishing at night. So if I park over there, it was right in the middle of their walkway, and they would harass me. And if they didn't like me, they would hurt me. The night of the incident, it was raining almost all week, and the roads leading up to the site was really muddy. And so when you come up to the site, the road is basically dirt road and gravel. And when you come right up to the site, then you drive into past the gate. They have a paved area, so my tires were covered with mud, and I didn't want to track the mud up on this nice pavement, the nice road that they had. So I left my car. I just pulled in right in front of the gate, and the person that's supposed to meet me there, he had left early, and so there was nobody up there but me. So when I pulled in, I just left the car over there because I didn't want to truck the mud up onto the road. And so I left it there. And it was raining off and on throughout the night. My time, I actually started at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock at night in the evening. So I got up there at about quarter to 10. I parked and I made my first rounds, and I came back. By the time I came back, it was about 11, and I started doing studies. I was doing my readings for a couple hours, so it may have been about 12:30, 1 o'clock. When I got hungry, I opened up my lunch and I started eating my sandwich, and that's when I felt my car rocking. It was kind of like rocking side to side, and at first I thought it was an earthquake. So I looked outside, rolled out my window, and looked down. There was nothing there. I looked out, and there was nothing around the car. And so I rolled the window back up and continued eating, and the shaking started. In fact, the shaking of the car, the rocking of the car got more violent. I opened the door and jumped out of the car while the car was rocking back and forth. And as soon as I jumped out of the car stopped rocking, and I walked around the car, and the site, it's fenced in, but there's these high, it looked like football stadium lights. These lights that were surrounding the place, it lit up the place almost like a football field. So everything was bright. You could see clearly everything around you. And as I started walking around the car trying to find out, what was happening, I saw smudges on my car doors and on my car panels, and near the wheel well, all the way on past the car door, back towards the trunk, and basically all of these smudges were around there, and I was kind of like confused because these smudges were pretty small, way smaller than my hand, but it looked human. There was long streaks along the side running from the bottom of the car up towards my window, but right where it stopped and right where they released their hands, you could clearly see the prints of a hand, a human hand. And the human hand, it didn't look deformed or anything like that. It looked just like a little kid's hand. And but My companion finally came. My relief finally came in the morning. And stuff, and we walked around the car, and I showed him, and he could see the smudges, and he thought I made it. But my hand was way too big, and he looked at him, and he put his hand near that, and he says, "Oh yeah, it looked like little kids are up here." And so that was the physical encounter with them.
Some experts, such as Catherine Luamoa, draw parallels between the term menehune and manahune. Manahune was a Euro-Hawaiian term used to describe people of low social status. Many believe this small status has been mistranslated into small size, thus creating a false legend of the menehune. Fabricated or real, the notion of the menehune is challenged by geography. Many argue that it would be impossible for a species like the menehune to hide in the Hawaiian wilderness due to the small size of the islands. Still though, belief persists, and David Wallace is not the only person who claims to have seen a true menehune face to face. Is it possible that the menehune are real primitive humans, or human relatives? Anthropology supports the existence of diminutive human ancestors in the Far East, where the Pacific Islanders originated. While some archaeological evidence suggests early humans came by boat to North and South America, the proof is hard to find. Any seafaring vessels used would now be lost at the bottom of the sea. This makes it virtually impossible to tell who, if anyone, got to Hawaii before the natives. Are the menehune real? Is it all a myth? Either way, it is undeniable that the story of the menehune, like the way of native Hawaiian life itself, has found its way through history and continues to live on.